other parts of the plant. Milk or the curd is churned to separate the butter. Now churning of milk is very famous because I know that nowadays you are very much free and you are seeing the lots of cartoon things. So you have seen the Lord Krishna serial. So her mother is just taking buttermilk and she just started churning it and to get a butter, and butter is still always stolen by Lord Krishna. So churning milk we get, sorry, the churning of curd we get butter. Butter means makhan. As we learned in chapter 3, we gain cotton to separate its sheet from fiber. See, in the third chapter we have already learned that we pour the cotton into the gin. Gin is a kind of a tonic, a liquid tonic that is used to separate the cotton from the cotton sheet from the fibers. Perhaps you might have eaten the salted dalia and or poha. Even you have eaten the salted dalia or poha. If you found that it had a chilies in it, you may have carefully taken them out before eating. See, as I know that you are not eating the most spicy thing like a chili. If your mother is giving you the batata poha and you will see the red chilies in it, the full plate, you will remove it like this and mommy I don't want to eat red chili. Why? Because it just gives the most spicy taste to your tongue. Suppose you are given a basket containing mangoes and guava and asked to separate them. What would you do? Pick out one kind of place them in a separate container, right? See, now let me explain with some common example that you are given the basket which is full of apple and guava, and now you are told to separate them. What you will do? You will take the another container, you will separate the guava, and which is left over in the first container is apple. So you have separate guava and apple, right? Yes, like this. Seems easy. It is so easy. But what if the materials we went to separate are much smaller than mango or guava? Sorry, it was not apple but it was mango. We are going to separate the mango and guava. Imagine you are given a glass of sand with the salt mixing it. See, to separate mango and guava, it is very easy. But suppose you are given a salt which is mixed with the sand. Reti સાથે મીઠું mix કરીને. Now how you will separate it? Is it easy to separate a sand and a salt? Impossible. Even you to think of separating the salt from the mixture by picking out grains of sand by hand. Even you can see that you just think that you are separating the sand from the salt by hand picking. So this is impossible. You cannot separate a salt and a sand. But the things that Paheli is thinking right now, why would we need to separate the substance? Like this is at all. Is what Paheli wants to know. She wants to know that why do we need to separate the things. As I told you in my first example, that when your mother gives you the tea, she will separate the tea leaves with the help of strainer. Suppose that she is not doing, and you are just drinking the tea along with the tea leaves. What happens? You cannot drink it at all. To make her understand better, let us perform an activity. Activity 1. In a column 1 of a table 5.1, I am given a few processes of separation. The purpose of separation and the way separated components are used in a mention in column 2 and 3 respectively. See, when you turn the page, you are given a table in which the things that is to be separated, how to separate it, and why the reason to separate this are given. However, the information given in 2 and 3 are is jumbled, mixed કરી રહી છે. Can you match them properly? Match the process with the purpose and the way separated components are used. So, in our 5.1, we are going to learn that why do we need to Now make a fine powder of a chalk piece and mix it with the flour. Can we separate the flour and the powder chalk by sieve? Sieve is used when components of mixture have a different size. See, from activity 4, don't you understand? See, it is told to take the wheat flour from home and now make a powder of a chalk. Now mix it. Can you separate it? No, you cannot separate it. Why? Because they both have a same size. You cannot separate with the help of sieving the same size of substance. Now we reach the another method, that is sedimentation, decantation and filtration. See, sedimentation, decantation and filtration is very easy method that we are going to read now. Very basic method that you have seen at the time of your home. In the kitchen everything is available. Sometimes it may not be possible to separate the components of mixture by winnowing and handling. For example, there may be lighter impurities like the dust or soil particles in a rice or a pulse. How are such impurities separated from a rice or a pulse before cooking? See, as you know that when we are cooking the food, we are cooking the food to kill the germs. But what the substance that is impure also coming along with that, you cannot separate it like with the winnowing and dressing. Rice or pulse are usually washed before cooking. So what do? We wash it before cooking. When you add water to this, the impurities like the dust and soil particle get separated. See, you have used to see at your home that your mother is pouring rice into the bowl and add water in it. Why does she do like this? Because she wants to separate some gravel particles and some light particles from the rice. એટલે આપણે દરેક વસ્તુને પલાળીએ છીએ. Why? Because in water it is just coming out. When you add some water in any substance, the lighter substance means થોડી વસ્તુ automatically comes up. The impurities go into water, which becomes a little muddy. Now what will sink to the bottom of the vessel? Rice or dust. See, rice will settle down at the bottom and the impurities will come up. Why? Have you seen that the vessel is tilted to pour out a dirty water? No, this is not happening. We are not tilting like a winnowing method. This is the thing that is automatically comes up. When the heavier components in a mixture settles after the water is added to the process is called sedimentation. See, as I given you the example of rice, we are learning the term sedimentation, decantation and filtration. Filtration you know, but let's learn about sedimentation. What is sedimentation? See, when you take a bowl, you put rice in it, add some water. If the impure things like unwanted husk, grains and even the light weighted rice particles that are not useful gets automatically comes up and the main substance that is rice will settle down at the bottom. So this kind of separation is called sedimentation. When the water is removed, the process is called decantation. And in the opposite side, when the water is automatically removed, it is called decantation. Let us find a few other mixtures that can be separated through the sedimentation and decantation. The principle is used for separating a mixture of two liquids that do not mix with each other. For example, oil and water from that mixture can be separated by this process. See, as we are learning the sedimentation, decantation and and when you try to separate it definitely gets separated, because when you tilt the glass, the upper layer that is removed, but it is not completely removed. No, it is not completely removed. After preparing tea, it helps a little, but do you still get a few leaves in a tea in your tea? But still you feel some of the leaves in your tea. Now pour the tea through the strainer. Did all the leaves remain in the strainer? This process is called filtration. But when you take a strainer means draining. When you take a strainer and when you pour the tea in it, the tea leaves get separated. This is the method of filtration. So, which method of separating the tea leaves from prepared tea is better, decantation or filtration? See, this is most important that which method should be used to separate the two different things. See, if you want to separate the tea leaves from tea, the filtration method is more better than decantation. But when you filter all that water from each other, then filtration cannot be useful. At that time, only decantation is useful. You just take the glass and the upper layer, which is of oil, gets separated easily. Let us now consider the example of water that we use. Do all of us at all the times get safe water to drink? Sometimes water supplied through the taps may be muddy. See, you all know that we get water from Nagarpalika. After 1 or 2 days, we get a water from Nagarpalika. That is tap water. We just take it into our house. We just pure it and make it drinkable. But sometimes what happens at the time of monsoon season, the water comes muddy. It has some mud. The water collected from the ponds or rivers may also be muddy. Suppose that the Nagarpalika taps are not available at your house. So what do we use? We use the river water. That is also at the village place. The ladies used to pour water, takes the water from the river front and use it for drinking. It also has a muddy substance. The water, especially after rain. Let us see if we can use some method of separation to remove the insoluble impurities like a soil from the water. See, this impurity is mixed so well that you cannot separate it easily. You cannot use the sedimentation, decantation and filtration method alone to separate these things. No, you cannot make this method. So, how to make pure water, pure drinkable water? So, you need to make all the three methods, and along with that, you also need to use another method to separate the impurities from the drinkable water. So, let's perform an activity and understand. Collect some muddy water from a pond or a river. If it is not available, mix some soil to the water into the glass. See, suppose that you are living the river front, so you cannot go to any rivers and take the water. So what you need to do? You need to take a glass and pour some soil in it. Soil means the soil that is available around your house. Let it stand for half an hour. Now let it be for half an hour. Like you have poured soil into the glass and you are just leaving the glass like this for half an hour. Observe the water carefully and note your observation. What happened? See, after half an hour, the soil settled down at the bottom of the glass. Sorry. Now slightly tilt the glass without disturbing the water. Does this soil settle at the bottom of water? Yes, some soil settle at the bottom of the water. What will you call this process? This process is called sedimentation. See, take a glass, add some soil, take it resting up for half an hour. The soil, that is dust, will settle down at the bottom of the glass. This method is called sedimentation. Now slightly tilt the glass without disturbing the water. Let the water from the top flow into the another glass. Now take the another So now you need to use the another method of filtration, another substance to filter, which has smaller pores, even smaller pores even than clothes. A filter paper is used, one such a filter that has a very fine pores in it. See the figure 5.9. See the 5.9, you can see that this is the filter paper. So if you use the filter paper to filter the water, it has a very small and tiny pores from which the impurities cannot go out. Only the pure water that is in a liquid form can go through that. So filter paper is used finally to get the pure water. A filter paper is one such a filter that uses very fine pores in it. Figure 5.9 shows the steps involved in using the filter paper. A. Filter paper folded in the form of cone is fixed onto the funnel and the mixture is then poured on the filter paper. Solid particles in the mixture do not pass through it and remain on the filter. See what happens? You have to make a cone shape from the filter paper and you need to put it like this in a funnel. Now pour the water in it. Only the pure water can pass from the filter paper and the impurities will be or remains on it, on the filter paper. Fruits and vegetables juice are usually filtered before drinking to separate the sheets and solid particles of pulp. The method of filtration is used in the process of preparing cottage cheese, that is paneer. See, another method of filtration by the filter paper or by the piece of cloth is making of paneer. How? Let's read and understand. You might have seen that for making paneer, a few drops of lemon juice are added to milk as it boils. This gives a mixture of particles of the solid paneer and a liquid. The paneer is then separated by filtering the mixture through a fine cloth or a strainer. See how the paneer is prepared, how it is get separated from water. Take a bowl of milk in the bowl and you need to add some 2 to 3 drops of lemon. Then you need to stir it. Then what happens? The milk is converted into solid substance as well as the liquid is just flowed out. After making it for rest for a few minutes, you need to strain it with a piece of cloth. See, no strainer is used other than, no filtration thing is used other than the piece of cloth. Only piece of cloth taken to separate the paneer, solid paneer from the liquid. Now we read last method of separation of the substance, that is evaporation. See, we get our salt with this method. So this is very important to understand that what is the evaporation method. Activity 6. To understand this, let us perform an activity. Heat the beaker containing some water. Allow the water to boil. If you continue heating, should the water turns into the steam and disappear completely? Yeah, this may happen but not. It is happen only partly. When you boil water and you boil it continuously, the water gets evaporated and nothing is left in the bowl. Now add 2 spoons of salt to the water in the another beaker and stir it well. See, now let's perform another thing. You need to take a beaker, add 2 to 3 spoons of Where do you think the salt comes from? Seawater contains many salt mixed in it. See, the seawater contains mixed salt in it. One of these salt is on the common salt. When seawater is allowed to stand in shallow pit, water gets heated by sunlight and slowly turns on the water vapor. Through the evaporation, in a few days, the water evaporates completely, leaving behind the solid salt, that is common salt. Then common salt is then obtained from the mixture of the salt by further purification. How the salt is prepared? See, at the sea salt, the salt panel is prepared. It is a cross, which you can see in this picture. One crisscross panel is used, and the salt panel is preparing this, and then they allow the water to stay into the pit. It means harden. Allow the water to stay in it. Rest of the water goes back to the sea. After some days, the water is slowly evaporated, and the things that is left behind is salt. This way, we get our salt. But you cannot directly eat the salt that is prepared at seashore. You must have to send there for purification. Here, our 5.1 is over, and what you have learned from this 5.1, you have learned that we need to separate the substance for removal of impurities and unwanted harmful substance. Even you have learned that what is the purpose and what is the use after separating the things. And then we have learned some method of separation of substances.